everybody. This is Carrie Hamblen, the CEO and president of the Las Cruces Green Chamber of Commerce, and we are here with our regular series with Nusenda Credit Union, providing you with helpful financial tips on a number of topics from budgeting to money management, boosting your credit score, what to do with your taxes, and so much more. These are the Nusenda's Financial Well-being tips, and we like to do this every month with our good friends here at Nusenda. And today we are talking with the one and only Sara Keller, who is the VP of Community Engagement for Nusenda Credit Union. Hey there, Sara. It's so great to see you.
Hi, good to see you too. Thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I'm excited about this because I kind of know about what like Nusenda does in terms of community engagement and just how your people are out there all the time. But with being the VP of community engagement, and that's what we're talking about today. What does that involve? Because I think different organizations have different, all depending on what your mission is, your community engagement looks a little differently. What does Nusenda's community engagement look like?
Well, at Nusenda, community engagement really looks like four major buckets. There's giving. So we do lots of philanthropy. We do a lot of sponsorships. We have a foundation called the Nusenda Foundation. And that's a big arm of community engagement. A lot of that is working with nonprofit organizations, small businesses, et cetera, on the work that they're doing in the community to advance folks forward. We also consider our education programs as part of our community engagement. So we're really fortunate. We have two educators on staff at the credit union who work with our K through 12 schools, our higher ed institutions, our adult learners, community organizations, everything in between. We have our community development work. So Nusenda is a CDFI. We're a community development financial institution. And some of what that means is that it means that we have to and get to go above and beyond to serve folks in our communities who are most vulnerable with unique financial products and services. And some of that community development work lives in community engagement. And then lastly, community engagement is how we connect our employees to the communities where they live, work, and play. So we do a lot of volunteering, giving, toy drives, coat drives, et cetera, that connect our folks to the work and the programs happening across the state.
That's fantastic. And I know that Nusenda in the past has been connected to a bunch of different stuff that I've been able to do in the community when I'm not wearing my green chamber hat, but wearing one of the other hats. So I think, it's so important. And that you have that involvement and that it's actually a value of the credit union, that is like something that is really seen as something that is critical to your mission and your place in Las Cruces, because Nusenda is still fairly new in Las Cruces when it comes down to it. And so what have you seen to be kind of the impact of like Nusenda's involvement in their communities? How do you see that your folks can make a difference? There might be some examples that you're able to cite that really have seen how important it is that community, as we talk about community, and we've known, I'll go on and on and on, of course, but just how, because of the pandemic, we saw how important community was. And it manifests in different ways for different communities and different focuses and different businesses and organizations. So how does that do that for Nusenda?
At Nusenda, really, I think the superpower is that we look at what our community organizations doing to impact their local communities. We are not coming in and saying, this is how you should show up to support the folks that you're serving, but rather, what are you doing that's meeting a need and how can we help support it? One of the programs that we have funded since we started here in Las Cruces is a program out of NAMI. And when we first started, they had almost no programs going on. And not because of us, but because they were new in the region and COVID was happening. And it's really difficult to serve behavioral health and mental health folks in a COVID environment, in a pandemic environment. And so we have helped support some of their outreach programs. And I was actually just meeting with them earlier today, and they now have expanded reach into 3 counties in southern New Mexico. They're expanding into their 4th. They're really thinking about how they can serve different folks who are impacted by behavioral and mental health in a lot of different ways. And they really allow people to show up as they are, and they meet them where they are. And I think it's the ability to fund programs like that, that know who they are as an organization and also know the communities that they're trying to serve. And we can come alongside and say, how can we help? What can we do? And that allows our employees, it allows our members to connect with the work that is making the most difference in their own backyards, opposed to us coming in and saying, here's what we think. Because, the reality is that we are a financial institution. We're great at what we do. We think that we're fantastic financial advisors, that we have our members and communities' best interests at heart. But we are not social workers. We are not caregivers. We are not food insecurity experts. We are not housing experts, but there are a lot of those folks and a lot of organizations that are designed to do exactly that. Our job is to connect the dots and to be able to provide resource and help share their stories in a really meaningful way.
Well, and just for clarification, NAMI is the National Alliance for the Mentally Ill, and it's an incredible service organization. And especially, Sarah, when we saw this, we knew that mental health issues and anxiety and depression and suicidal ideations and all sorts of stuff really amplified a lot during the pandemic. And so kudos to you for recognizing that. And I'm, somebody who's had nonprofit experience for many, many years, I'm really grateful that you're like, we're not the professionals. We just need to provide you support because you all do the work, right? I think that's so great. And that's so just observant because they're doing such amazing work. And it's like, we do a disservice if we try and get in their way of thinking that we're helping.
Right. Right.
And so, there's some other organizations that I know that you've also helped, the Mesilla Valley Community of Hope with their Tents to Rents, which I'm hoping will happen again. I'm going to be a participant, so I'm going to try and raise a lot of money for them this year, and near and dear to my heart. And I think it's when you've got folks that are out in the community, you've got your staff that you certainly encourage, but there's also one of the buckets that you had talked about was like supporting your customers that are doing things out in the community. And so as we finish up today, because I know that we could probably talk for a very long time about how important it is in community, how important it is to have organizations and businesses like Nusenda as part of this. But what are ways that like customers can get involved through Nusenda because they may not have the connections yet, or they may like, oh, I didn't know that organization existed. I want to help them. So how can they do that as we finish up today, Sarah?
Sure. So there's a couple of easy ways. Maybe the easiest is to go to nusendafoundation.org and look at community rewards. We actually have all of the organizations that we have funded through the foundation listed there. So it's a really great place to start to see where cool work and important work or work that you care about is happening in the community that we are supporting. And then the other way to really get connected or involved in part of our giving back strategy is to opt into community rewards. So members of the credit union have the opportunity to opt into community rewards, which is a signature transaction option on their debit card. And instead of charging a fee, what we are able to do is the credit union matches that, and part of it goes back to the member and part of it goes back to community rewards. And the members get to decide where that match goes. So a member here in Las Cruces can say, I would like my community rewards match to go to Southern New Mexico in education programs. And then when we make those grant making decisions in the fall, we look at how many members said Southern New Mexico education. And that helps us decide how much money we have to allocate to programs here in Southern New Mexico that are doing education-based work. Same formula is true for all the other categories, but it's a really easy way to connect what you're already doing in your day-to-day life to how you show up and support your community through grant making and through the foundation.
Well, and that's a great way because it's a great way for you all to learn about all these different other community opportunities are happening, because in some cases it's really hard to know exactly everything that's going on. We know kind of like the big ones that are really visible, but like these smaller ones. And so customers aren't paying any extra. It's just if they get charged a particular fee for some particular transaction, which is common, that you will match that fee and give to their whatever they designate.
There's actually no fee involved. So instead of the fee, half of it, 0.25% goes back to the member. We pay back the member every year in January with their earned community rewards. And then that same 0.25% goes back into the community every fall. So It's a
Can't
really great.
can't
And for
beat
every
that. You cannot beat that. That's a great thing. And I love learning. I love these financial well-being tips when we have these conversations because I learned so much about what you're doing. And the Green Chamber always talks about, the triple bottom line of people, planet, and profit. And we often talk about how local businesses give back to local charities 350% more than do national chains. And this is why it's so important for these relationships to exist. And I'm so grateful for Nusenda to really get that, to get the triple bottom line of this is what we do. So I'm really grateful. And so say again, though, the website where people can check all the different groups that you support.
NusendaFoundation.org.
NusendaFoundation.org. So we're going to have that information either above or below, all depending on what platform you're looking at this. But Sara Keller, it is lovely seeing you. I wish we could see you more when you're down from the home office in Albuquerque. But thank you so much for being able to talk about community engagement and such a great conversation.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Our series, Nusenda's Financial Wellbeing Tips, drops every second Monday of the month. And if you'd like more information on the services by Nusenda, you can go to their website, nusenda.org. If you'd like to know about their community in philanthropy, you can go to nusendafoundation.org, or you can call our local branch here at 575-523-7750, or go by their office at 1715 East University Avenue. And you can also find all of our financial well-being tips at local.lascruces.com/Nusenda. Thank you again, Sara, and we will see you soon. Have a fabulous day.
Bye.